My dog Vicky and I have moved to Sweden early this summer. But by now it's autumn, it's fall. We're still looking for our own forever place, a cozy Swedish cottage. A red house with a property big enough for Vicky to chase our chickens over the yard. A small farm where I can grow some potatoes and carrots. With an apple tree to make apple juice and applesauce for some sweetness over the long, cold winter. A greenhouse to grow hot peppers that burn my tongue. A wood stove on which to cook stew and bake bread. And a fireplace in front of which Vicky can rest in the heat of crackling logs after our long dog walks through the forest, where berries and mushrooms grow, and where Vicky pokes her nose on a curled-up hedgehog, where squirrels place mushrooms on branches to dry them for the winter, and birds chirp from dawn till dusk. We are on our way, but we are not quite there yet. More viewings are lined up, and I will take you with us on our journey to find a new home in Sweden. My last video ended with a house viewing that kicked off a whole weekend of viewings. In this video, the journey continues. At the first house I'm showing you, the viewing will work a bit differently, and I was surprised, as you may be now. Although I had signed up for the viewing with a realtor, it turned out that the owner of the house would conduct the viewing. It was a situation where this is a private sale through a realty service, where the realtor wants the administrative side, like posting the listing, being the point of contact to sign up for the viewing, and being the partner to deal with for the bill of sale. But the viewing itself is then conducted by the seller. I realized that after I registered for the viewing, after which I received instructions to meet with the owner of the house. It came as a surprise because now I didn't know what to expect. Is the whole family there, with kids running around? Is it a group viewing or single appointments? Is the seller disappointed when I'm not interested? It turned out that the owner made it a great experience. He knew exactly what upgrades he had done when, told me about the history of the place and the area, and we shared stories together of where we see ourselves in the future. And because this is a quite private situation, I didn't manage to get much video footage. We were chatting a lot, private stuff, and yeah, so basically that's all I can show you about the place. I decided against it because it only had one bedroom. The question is, can you see that beforehand in the listing? And I find it very difficult when it's a place with 2 stories to really see, how the floor plan is. And so I went there and it turned out it's too small for me. Also, the house is right by a road. It's a fairly quiet road, but nevertheless, it's not really what I want. Let's go to the next viewing. And I tried something new. I haven't gone to a viewing yet where the price is so high that it's at the top end of my budget. So let's see how that goes. It's not red, but a bucket of paint and elbow grease and it can be done. This is a 1-story building. So it only has one level. Everything that you see now is on the same level. Located in the middle of the house is the entrance, and in front of us, the kitchen. The kitchen doesn't have one of these traditional wood stoves that you can find in the older houses. However, it's adjacent to the living room with a fireplace, so I'm sure on the opposite wall here in the kitchen you could still set something up. We had entered the house in the middle with the kitchen in front of us, but if we had turned left, voila, the living room. When we go out on the balcony, the meadow that you see is already the neighbor's property. The tree line right in front of us is the property line. We're now coming to the opposite end of the house with two small bedrooms. They are the only bedrooms in the house, though we will see a guest cabin later. The main entrance was on the left around the corner, and these two windows are the two bedrooms. So on the back of the house, there is this addition. On the back side of the house, I'm walking along the property line. We see the balcony there, and there is some kind of storage underneath. And here is the stuga, the guest cabin. So how do I feel about this house? Well, it is at the upper end of my budget, so there is no wiggle room. No wiggle room for a bidding war, no wiggle room for repairs, and most importantly, no wiggle room for it not being perfect. Because there is no room left for me to pay for upgrades, changes, extensions, additions. And although I was okay with the property, to me the house didn't have any soul. It was built in 1967, so more of a modern build. The houses I'm usually viewing were built between 1890 to 1930. And when they were built, it was done so with something in mind: total self-sufficiency. Off-grid capability, well, not off-grid capability, but off-grid necessity. Water, sewer, heating, cooking, and large properties to grow your own vegetables and fruits, to have livestock, to store food securely over long periods of time, and maybe even to house farmhands. The full ability to live off-grid. By the way, now you learned what I'm actually looking for and why I'm looking at the older houses rather than a modern one. But back to the question what my thoughts about this house are. To me, it is certainly a nice getaway. Well, getaway cottage, but not an off-grid home. It's a no. And off we went to the next house viewing, to a place fairly remote. There is a stuga again on the property, a guest cabin. I have to confess that I came unprepared for this viewing. I even told the realtor because I had to ask him all the questions that were actually outlined in the listing. One of them being, does this house have power? No. How do I feel about this house? I found the property being too small. I was not able to stand upright in the house. If you have watched my previous videos, you remember that I had that issue before, but also may have noticed that after I found out that this is actually a thing, that some older houses were simply built low, I was able to catch it on the photos of the realty listings already. But as mentioned, I was somewhat unprepared for this viewing. Another downside was that there is no larger town nearby. There is a village with a small grocery store, which is great. But it was about 65 kilometers or 40 miles one way to the next bigger town. Although I would love to have no immediate neighbor, that doesn't mean that I want to live a solitary life. This house is a no, and it's my bad. I wasn't well prepared going there. And this was my big viewing weekend. 4 viewings, 1 you saw in the last video, 3 in this one. But on my way home, I actually stopped at a 5th house. A viewing for that was scheduled to be a week after, but I was in the area, and so I stopped, and it wasn't really that nice. I didn't take videos of that because it was right by the road. Just a quick fun fact. This is the mailbox that I'm sharing with my landlady, and this plastic bag hung there on a hook. And I thought, what's this? And it turns out it's the mailman. When he delivers something that doesn't fit through the slit of the mailbox, he just hangs it up there. How genius is that? I want to give you an outlook of what's happening next. Something really, really exciting and interesting. But before we go there, I just wanted to let you know these 4 houses that I showed in the last 2 videos, and it was all happening on one weekend. These 4 houses, none of it has been sold yet. The listings are all still active. I think, let me think quickly, I think two of them have a new viewing scheduled, and two of them at this point haven't. So that gives me some hope. It gives me some hope because it could be that this time of the year there's just way less demand. And so, yeah, that gives me hope for what's coming next. There's a reason why I'm smiling so much. There is a house that I am really, really interested in. Let's see how that goes. The viewing is somewhat in the future, and I'll take you with me to that viewing. But because I saw the house online and I was like, oh my God, this is it. And so I called the realtor and asked if I could go there already. And she said, it's okay, I can go there. Nobody's on the property, but of course, I can't go inside. I can only take a look outside. But she doesn't have time. So, yeah, anyway, I went there and I took the following videos.
You have arrived.
This shed is locked. But I saw that on the back side there's also a door. Okay. That didn't work out. But then here on the side, there's also a door. Before I let you go, I want to share one cool thing with you. I was always wondering how back in the day they built these stone walls, and I found the answer. I drove on a road in the countryside when I saw this, and I stopped to take a closer look. They set up this ancient crane with a pulley system. The rocks lay around basically anywhere, and when they wanted to have a field for their livestock or to grow crops, they used this type of crane to lift the rocks. Add some sort of cart and you can move them. Put all the rocks together in a long line and you have a stone wall that marks your property line and fences in your livestock.